Let me quickly talk to you about ALC business lines of credit from KeyBank. The cool thing is that when we talk about KeyBank, and we're speaking specifically about their limited liability company credit offering, they have a diversity. We love the fact that they have a constellation of lines of credits. They have business loans. They have coupon financing. They have a lot of stuff. So if you're an ALC, no matter where you live, as long as you are in the geography they cover, you will really love it. And in today's conversation, I really want to first talk to you about, I want to give you the particulars of the KeyBank LLC business line of credit so you have a clear idea what we're talking about. So here's a review I really want you to pay attention to. So when you think about KeyBank and you think about line of credit, I want you to think about minimum $10,000, maximum $500,000. And here we're speaking about unsecured. So this is kind of cool. I mean, you can see the generosity here. They're giving you $500,000 for your LLC, and this is unsecured. Of course, you got to have a relationship with KeyBank. They really pay attention a lot to that. They want to see, and when we talk about relationship, we are speaking about how long you've been with them, and also the quality of that relationship. So it's not just about, like I've been with you guys for 5 years or 10 years and whatnot, and during those 10 years you only maintain like a small amount of liquidity in the account. So we're speaking about you actually nurturing their relationship. You actually having a 1 or 2 or 3 business accounts for your LLC, and you want to have an LLC business checking accounts, an LLC business savings account. You want to have, if need be, you want to have an investment accounts with them. So this is kind of cool. So when you think about LLC business lines of credit from KeyBank, I want you to think about $10,000. That's the minimum, and $500,000 maximum. And this line of credit is renewable every 12 months. So this is kind of cool. So every year they'll look at the accountant, and if they're comfortable with the way you handle everything, they'll renew it. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And we love talking about conversations around ALC business lines of credit from a mid-tier bank such as KeyBank. And KeyBank they do a lot of stuff. I mean, if you qualify, if you get an ALC business line of credit from a KeyBank, you have easy 24/7 access to funds. You have secured and unsecured lines. You have competitive pricing. You have monthly payments with interest-only options. This is really good, and this is fantastic. And one thing I want to say, let me first sort of break it down for you. So here you have it. You have basically secured and unsecured. Here you have $500,000 maximum. Let me give you the steps that you need to really take if you want your LLC to qualify for an business line of credit from KeyBank. And we're talking about a large amount, okay? And so the first thing you have to do here is you need to decide whether or not you want to go with a secured option or unsecured option. Now, you might be saying, well, I want unsecured because I don't want to flush collateral. And my answer to you will be, wait a minute, hold your horses. Because if you have let's say if you have quality collateral, you can actually pledge that collateral to actually get a cheaper APR. You want to have a larger balance, and basically you also want to nurture your relationship with KeyBank in the process. So it's not about just, when people ask you a question, do you want to go with let's say an unsecured or secured business line of credit for your LLC, you automatically choose the unsecured option. In some cases, a secured option for your LLC might be the better option, especially in this economy where you never know what's going to happen in the next day. If you have quality assets, those are the keywords, quality assets. If you have quality LLC business assets, you might want to pledge that. So first you need to choose between the unsecured and the secured LLC line of credit for your KeyBank relationship. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a short conversation about LLC business lines of credit from KeyBank. And I'm just giving you all the hacks that you need to really, sort of think about the next time you want to apply for an LLC business line of credit at KeyBank. So you need to decide that. So first thing first, decide that. Now, this is really important because, again, KeyBank, if you were to choose the unsecured line of credit, they are limiting you at $500,000. So if you have a multi-member LLC and your liquidity needs are kind of high, like you need a larger pool of liquidity, you need financing big time, and you want, let's say you want $1 million, maybe you need the cash for expansion, or you need the cash to acquire another LLC, or you need the cash to actually get into a new industry or a new niche. then you need a lot of cash, right? So you might want to go actually for a larger limit. In that case, you will go with a secured business line of credit for your LLC. The second thing I want you to really do here is to actually think about whether or not the requirements for the LLC business line of credit that KeyBank has put in place, you actually can qualify. In other words, your LLC does qualify. And so, first of all, you got to be in the geography that KeyBank covers, right? This is something we've talked time again about on this show. So KeyBank is geo restricted, similar to Truist, similar to TD Bank, similar to Capital One, similar to all the mid-tier players. And so when you think about the banking industry in this country, except the like besides the top four, the national banks, all the other players are regional. So the top four being Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Chase. And everything else, everybody else is just a mid-tier player, like a regional player. That's how we analyze them. So, and I'm talking about PNC, US Bank, I'm talking about KeyBank, and what have you. So the thing here is that you need to research KeyBank's requirements for getting your ALC business line of credit. Usually, KeyBank wants you to have a relationship with them. That's number one. Number two, you must have been in operation for 2 years. Now, when we talk about being in operation, I'm not talking about when the last time you send paperwork to the state authorities to actually file for your ALC. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about KeyBank is going to look at your bank statements, your business bank statements, and see the transactions. You must have had transactions in your business bank account for the last 2 years. Okay, so just simply having articles of incorporation or having articles of organization or having a certificate of deposit doesn't mean that you are. That's the certificate of good standing, not deposit. Okay, so if you have if you are in good standing with the state, and KeyBank believes that you have a revenue, because see, you got to have 2 years at least in operation, but also you got to have revenue. Now, revenue, it's KeyBank wants you to have at least $50,000 minimum every single year in terms of revenue. We're not speaking about income. We are speaking about top of the line revenue. So if you can actually pass those two tests, you are good to go. Of course, you got to have a good relationship. I want to insist on that because if you F up on your relationship with KeyBank, you're not going to qualify at all. No matter how great your profile is, no matter how great your FICO is, you wouldn't really get it. The third thing I want you to do here is to actually you want to gather the required information. Now, KeyBank they're very thorough, and what they do is that they usually will send you a list of requirements to meet, and they'll tell you, hey, listen, your ALC, we want your ALC to meet all those requirements. You need to check all the boxes before we even look at your ALC business line of credit application. Like if you don't meet the requirements, they're not going to look at your package at all, your application package. So they want you to have you're going to have to put like your ALC business licenses. So if you are in a sector that is heavily regulated, they pay attention a lot. If you're like in healthcare, if you are in restaurants, if you are anything that deals with hazmat, anything that deals with a federally sensitive substance or a federally sensitive sector, KeyBank will really pay attention to everything. And they do. And they've been doing this for the last 20, 30 years. It's just a very conservative bank. I mean, they are risk averse. So you need to show your business licenses, your articles of organization. They'll in some cases they'll ask you to provide your personal bank statements if you don't have a strong relationship with KeyBank, or they'll ask you to have your own personal bank statements if you don't have a relationship with them at the personal level. Ideally, what you want to have is if you think about KeyBank as your ALC bank, your primary bank, you want to have not only a business account for your ALC, but also a savings account for your ALC, in addition to personal accounts. So you as the founder of the ALC, or you as the major stakeholder, a major equity holder in the ALC, you want to maintain also a great relationship with KeyBank on the personal level. So KeyBank will want to see also your profit and loss statements. So they will usually they usually ask for the last 3 months. Back in the days, like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, they used to ask for like 2 years or 3 years of P&L. That was when we were guiding a series of business clients in getting business credit from KeyBank. But nowadays, they have actually lowered the bar, and they're only asking for 3 months, in some cases 6 months. So this is kind of cool. They'll ask you for a business plan also, and they'll ask you for a personal, like one or two personal and business tax returns. Now, the next thing I want you to do here is that if you are interested in LLC business line of credit from KeyBank, it's always great to actually check out KeyBank's requirements, but also actually keep your options open, right? Because the thing is, you have a business to run, you have an LLC to run. So no matter how faithful, no matter how loyal you are to KeyBank, don't actually put your interest like after your let's say your loyalty, your fidelity to KeyBank. No, you have a business to run. So you want to actually look at other lenders out there. You want to look at other banks. Maybe Truist has a better LLC business line of credit. Maybe PNC has a better LLC business line of credit. Maybe M&T Bank, maybe Citizens, maybe BMO, maybe TD Bank, maybe Capital One. So you have a constellation of banks, regional banks that is, or even national banks for that matter, who actually can give, and those banks, they can give you a better business line of credit. Now, better means depending upon your situation, because for somebody, KeyBank will be a great LLC business line of credit provider. For another LLC, this could be the worst. So it really depends on your situation. It depends also on your FICO profile as well as your financial profile, both at the personal level, but also at the business level. And especially like if the geography that KeyBank covers is currently currently going through some kind of economic upheavals, then you will see like the activity will be reduced in those states, and KeyBank will want to shift their its risk management to other areas. So those are things I want you to really think about. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about LLC business lines of credit from KeyBank. I'm giving you all the tips and tricks that you need to really think about before qualifying or even applying for this LLC business line of credit. And one thing I want to say here is that when you think about either considering KeyBank or selecting other lenders, you want to pay attention to things like the maximum credit limits for their LLC lines of credit, the repayment plan they're actually proposing to you, the requirements, the associated fees, if there are some special features such as credit monitoring services, or let's say a business credit advice, whatever it is, you want to consider the whole package. The next thing I want you to do here is to actually, so once you have all the paperwork, it's now time to actually apply for your LLC business line of credit from KeyBank. And what you want to do here is that it's just a lot better to apply at the branch. So you want to go to the nearest KeyBank branch. You want to sit down with someone, and you want to have a conversation. Now the thing is that sometimes when we say this, people say, "Well, I ain't got time. I'm busy. I'm actually I have a business to run. I have an LLC to run." And my answer to you is, imagine you went to a branch, a KeyBank branch, and instead of getting $50,000 for your LLC business line of credit, you get $75,000, or you get $100,000. You get double that. Are you telling me that your time, your 2 hours or 3 hours, are so valuable that you make $50,000 in 3 hours? Just as you don't. You don't even make 1/10 of that or 100 of that. So I want your ass to go to a KeyBank branch. Simple as that. I know you might not like it. I know you might not like the sound of it, but I'm just telling you what we have seen work in the last 20 years. Because I want your ass to laugh all the way to the nearest KeyBank branch. That's what I care about. So I'm telling you, like, straightforward, the stuff you need to do to actually qualify for a large amount. We're not speaking about a small ass line of credit amount. We are speaking about 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 6 digits, like $500,000. That's the maximum. So those are things you have to really do. Go to a branch, have a conversation. Of course, if you can have your that will be appreciated. KeyBank will love you for that. And if you can maybe have other information about your business, the financials also. Okay. And see, the whole thing is that when you go to a branch, you always have the option to ask the rep if this is a good time to actually apply for an LLC business line of credit. They'll let you know, because see, the economy, like with the crazy stuff happening in the economy right now, with the Wall Street Journal, the like Bloomberg News, and all the financial newspapers are always having like crazy headlines. You never know. Like, banks are kind of scared as shit. They are scared. So because of that, people are just like, okay, or do we want to actually lend money, or we just like we want to really reserve our lending for the future. So those are stuff that I really want you to really think about. So when you go to a branch, you can ask the KeyBank rep about things like draw fees, payment processing fees, wire transfer fees, late fees, prepayment penalties, everything that you need to really think about in terms of qualifying. And I want to give you a bonus before we actually close to this conversation here. See, the thing here is that when you think about LLC business lines of credit from KeyBank, you need to really understand that in addition to business lines of credit, they also give like LLC business term loans. They have they actually offer also LLC business real estate borrowing. So this is really fantastic. And what we love here is that you have the ability to understand what really matters. What matters here is that if your LLC doesn't qualify for a business line of credit, or the business line of credit that KeyBank offers is not in sync with your LLC financial needs right now, you can actually think about something else, right? You can think about something else that really that you can qualify for. And what I want to say here is that you always have the option. So if you don't qualify, or you just like, you know what, I don't think my LLC right now, based on the conditions that we find ourselves in, we need a line of credit, then you can say, you know what, let's apply rather for a business term loan for our LLC. So here, if you want to apply for an LLC business term loan at KeyBank, you do have the delta here goes from 10,000 all the way to $500,000. So that's the range. And then you have the term 12 to 84 months. Okay. And so in terms of the minimum monthly payments, it really depends on your APR. Now the APR goes from 7% to 14%. In some cases, it can go all the way to 20%. Again, it depends on your FICO score and the constellation of other factors. And what we love about the business term loan here is that you have the ability to get your equipment financed 100%. And when we talk about business term loans for your LLC at KeyBank, you have two options. Same thing, you have unsecured or secured. So the unsecured, the maximum here is $500,000. If you want to go with secured, then you can go all the way to 10 million. Again, everything depends on the underlying value here, because when we talk about secured, we're speaking about you pledging business collateral, your LLC business collateral, and depending on the quality and value of the collateral, you will get a corresponding amount in LLC business term loan. You can also qualify for LLC business real estate loans at KeyBank. So here we have the delta goes from you have 10,000 all the way to 1 million. And the term here, the repayment term up to 20 years. Obviously, this is a real estate loan. So this is a CRA, a commercial real estate loan. So the tenor is longer. But I just want to let you know that, hey, listen, KeyBank is a great bank. They do have the balance sheet to support all your LLC business needs. They'll give you the cash you need as long as you qualify, as long as you are able to establish a great relationship with them and nurture that relationship with them. They'll take care of you. Not a problem. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just quickly talking to you about the LLC business lines of credit from KeyBank. And I give you the review and the steps you need to actually take to qualify. And in the bonus category, I also spoke to you about the fact that you could qualify for other LLC business funding arrangements, including real estate loans and term loans with KeyBank. Thank you. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.